Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
I'm Dave, DJ, producer, and tech aficionado here at EMC.
And I'm Austin, musician, music producer, and tech guru.
So, together we're going to be bringing you guys a weekly tech show. It's going to be relatable for DJs and producers. It's going to help hopefully save you time, money, and showing you that you could do a lot more with less.
Cool. Today's topic is going to be about live streaming. Due to the pandemic, you find more and more artists doing it as a way to still keep in touch and perform live for their audience. Due to social distancing and most clubs, lounges, concerts, and festivals being shut down, this has evened out the playing field for essentially bedroom-level artists to be on the same level as well-established artists because they have the ability to live stream.
Yeah, man, you're looking at, 12, 13-year-olds who are, on the same level as well-established artists, essentially.
It's crazy.
Because that playing field has been leveled out, and
Right.
because they know how to navigate and use the software and lighting and cameras and everything. So it's totally leveled out now.
Yep.
Another thing to consider too, a better quality live stream is going to attract more viewers than a big name artist whose stream is interrupted due to all types of variables like internet bandwidth, and these are the types of things that we're going to help and discuss later in this tech series that we're going to be doing for you guys. But this today, in this particular series that we're doing now, is just to kind of help get you guys up and running, save you some time and money, and hopefully help you avoid issues that we had to encounter when diving into this whole live stream subject.
Right.
Right?
Totally. So we put together a live stream gear checklist to make your intro into live streaming more seamless. This checklist will have multiple components to it, but we won't cover all of them today. First item on our checklist that we will focus on today is cameras.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Quick disclaimer, this video and show, it's not being sponsored. So just a real quick thing about cameras. We aren't saying for you guys to just run out, spend thousands of dollars on equipment and DSLR cameras and lenses. To get started, you can start off really light and work your way up to more expensive cameras and everything later on. So for this episode and for this series, we're going to show you, gear that we're using in our studio, what you can do with gear that you might just have laying around your house or studio, and we're also going to give you some suggestions on some inexpensive items to help get you started in streaming. So how many times have you seen your favorite DJ or producer doing a live stream, performing, and they've only really got like one camera angle? And yeah, man, because of that one camera angle, they might be blocking the, for instance, if it's a DJ setup, they might be blocking a turntable or blocking the mixer. And so you can't really see 100% what they're doing. DJs and producers, when performing, they're essentially telling you a story and giving you a piece of their personality. So multiple camera angles can help add visuals to that story, that we are trying to tell.
Right.
So
And I want to tell you about my cell phone. There are multiple ways for you to use just your cell phone. At the end of the day, you could just use your cell phone and live stream directly to, say, Instagram, Facebook.
right.
But if you do, I would recommend a tripod to prevent that shaky cam effect and to help prevent your viewers from getting sick,
Seasick. It's the worst.
Totally. How many of you have an old iPhone or cell phone just laying around collecting dust. The other way is the other way is using that old cell phone as an input in your broadcast software, and your phone will now be a cam in the production. I actually dug out yesterday a 6 Plus that I haven't used since last year. And one thing I do want to add, this is a free way for you to get started without having to go out and spend money. So I'm going to bring in right now my iPhone 6 Plus and just show you real quick. I might just turn around and look weird and wave.
Damn, look at that shot of Mission
It's not
Control.
bad. It's
I like that.
And this is
the
just
show. The show is live. Yeah.
And this is just from a camera from my old iPhone 6 Plus that I haven't used since last year. So this is a real good, resourceful way to use this old iPhone just sitting around. And so right now you see both of us, right?
Actually, real quick, if you've got a couple of those laying around, now you got multiple cameras that you could use in your production.
Right. So that's a great point, Dave. Basically, you're viewing us right now through our FaceTime cameras, right? Or whatever built-in computer camera. We call them FaceTime cameras. We're using Mac. We're using an Apple computer. If you want to step up your live stream game and go beyond just streaming with the cell phone, you will need a laptop or computer. That's a definite thing. Most laptops or desktop computers have a built-in camera. For our example and what we are using now, like I said, we're showing you our FaceTime cams. So Dave, what year is your computer? Like what is it?
I'm a 2018 15-inch MacBook Pro.
Oh, cool. So you're seeing me through a 2020 16-inch MacBook Pro. This is one of the newer ones. So
that laptop is a monster.
It's a beast, yes. So now I'm going to bring in my old computer, which is a 2012 MacBook Pro. And you'll see a slight difference, or a pretty noticeable difference. Hello, look at that. It's not as clear as the 2020, so you have to keep in mind when you go and you want to live stream and say it's on an old computer, it won't look as clear, and this is due to processing speed. There's many factors that you have to keep in mind when you're live streaming, and the quality of your camera. So the hardware is basically capable of 30 frames per second. However, Apple will in software reduce the frame rate if your internal hard drive storage or processor memory are not capable of handling the maximum frame rate at the time of capture. So they do this to ensure you can still use the camera even in non-optimal conditions. So like I said, keep in mind how much free space you have on your storage. Are you running any processor intensive applications? How much RAM do you have? These factors can have a serious impact on capture rates. The frame rate could also be affected by...
But you can... go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. The frame rate could also be affected by other factors if you are using, say, third-party applications like Zoom, Skype. Technically, you could do a live stream with just your FaceTime or built-in camera, and this is all you would need to do to get started. But we will go over some other options to add onto your setup.
Yeah, man. We're not saying you can't use your older MacBook Pro though, right?
Right. No, you can use it.
You can still use it. Maybe some things that can help clean that shot up would be some lighting and
right.
There's some other stuff that can be done to
lighting is a huge factor. And we'll go over that in a future video.
Exactly. So another option is webcams. And they're fairly inexpensive. We recommend a webcam though that can autofocus and can output 1080p or 4K. Webcams are plug and play. and they get constant power, so you don't really need to worry about the battery dying. And the other dope thing is your computer instantly will recognize it as a webcam.
That's great.
But depending on the type of computer that you have, Mac or a PC, you might need to download the drivers for that webcam. But that technical stuff to the side, I'm actually going to show you what I have set up right now in my studio. What I'm using right now is a Logitech C920 webcam. It delivers full HD video, 1080p at 30 frames per second, super clear. It does have stereo sound, built-in HD autofocus, which is huge, light correction. I can go on and on. It's a really, for the price, it's a really good webcam. So $70 to $80, that's not too bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, and really quick, let me show you how I have it set up. One option of how I have it set up with my DJ setup. Right now, what you're looking at is a Logitech C920 that I have connected to the side of my coffin, and it's just a dope shot that shows you just above the record, all the way over to the other record. And like I said, back to the story that you're trying to tell, we seamlessly can transition between these different shots, whether it's a cell phone, whether it's a FaceTime cam, and whether it's a webcam pointed at a specific piece of gear in a creative way. So for you DJs out there, this totally is an option for you to add some visuals to your set. Another second cam actually that I have is another Logitech C920, and I've got that one directly as my overhead, and this gives you a complete full shot of the entire setup and allows you to see what the DJ is doing and how the DJ is doing it. Turntables, mixer. If you had a controller, you'd be able to see the whole controller. If you're a producer, we'd be able to see that piece of gear that you want people to see. So, yeah, how I'm holding that overhead cam up is I'm using.
What is that?
Well, it's called a Glide Gear OH50, and it's a pretty dope tripod. It's got an extendable extension arm. It's with a ball that has like this head at the end that's 360 degrees, like a ball joint is probably the best way to describe it. And I like using that because it allows me to get in the exact shot that I want to get. And Logitech itself, I have the ability to at least go 180 to try to lock in the perfect shot that I want to get. And this is a fairly inexpensive piece of gear.
How much is it?
Between $70 and like $75. So yeah, that's something that is an option for you if you wanted to do an overhead cam, and have something that can hold it up.
That's
and something else real quick, Austin, that I can let them know about is Logitech Capture. Logitech Capture is an actual piece of free software. They're running a beta right now for Mac that allows you, it gives you a few extra features actually, that can give you some digital pan, tilt, and zoom features, and a whole lot more. We're going to leave a link for Logitech Capture in the description. And the other cool thing about this is it's free. You know how I love free.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So that Logitech Capture can work with your C920, and you can basically zoom or wow.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Once you have it connected, you can zoom in, you can pan, you can tilt, you can zoom. it's pretty dope for you. Now, I'm not trying to say it could take the place of a PTZ cam by any means, but at least you have some digital zoom features, and it's not just A, B, and that's the only shot that you have.
Wow. That's a lot of ability with that webcam then.
Totally.
Cool.
So, man. So
let me ask you a question. The price for a lot of these webcams can be pricey. Why not use a pricey camera you might already own?
Good point. So you can do something with something that's called a CamLink capture card, and one that we would recommend is called the Elgato CamLink. You can pick one of these guys up for about $100, and the cool thing about these is you can connect this through your USB port, which gives you an HDMI input and allows you to connect a more expensive camera. Great option. I didn't want to spend $100, so I went another direction with a different option. I actually used something very similar, but it's called the HDMI capture card. And this can allow you to turn a DSLR cam or an expensive camera into a USB cam, and your computer will now recognize it as a USB cam on all types of platforms, Zoom, Skype, broadcast software such as OBS or even vMix. So it's crazy. The pricing on those fluctuates, right? It's funny. Right before this show, Austin and I were just taking a look at that, and yesterday, no lie, those were going for $37 to $40. And how much are they today, man?
They're $22. That's like $15 off from yesterday.
Yeah, so $100 versus $22. So for $22, you could turn a more expensive cam that you might have laying around the house into a USB cam, and that could be used inside of your production. What I did with it, I didn't have a DSLR cam laying around, but I did have a GoPro Hero 5 laying around. So
wow.
I basically took this old GoPro that was laying around, dusted it off, and I like using this because it's got a dope wide angle, and it outputs at 4K. I placed it behind my mixer, as you can see here, and this gives you DJs another added shot for you to keep describing the story that you're trying to tell. And simply, it's just an HDMI that's wrapping around, connects to my USB-C hub and into my laptop. If you guys are interested in how to set something like this up, let us know in the comments, and maybe we could do a separate video on that.
Dave, we're seeing the GoPro Hero 5 right now, that view?
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. I really like that view. That captures, that's like almost like a behind the scenes kind of look, I would say. Now I have all these different angles and stuff. So yeah, man, I'm glad you showed this shot. So now, if I am spinning live, we have the ability to instantly and seamlessly just transition from all these different shots while you're playing, and you're not restricted to just one camera angle. And I think that this is something that is an option for people, especially with camera placement, and at a fraction of the cost. In place of these webcams could be extra, iPhones or cell phones that you have laying around. Totally. I would say that is worth the investment alone, seeing those 4 different views. I mean, you're not going too crazy. But one thing I do want to talk about maybe is some suggestions. I mean, we've shown you what you can do with old devices laying around the house and cams we have currently in our setups and ideas for camera angles. Yep. Now we would like to give you some suggestions for inexpensive camera options that you could buy to add up to your setup. First one I do want to mention, Dave.
Well, another quick disclaimer.
Sure.
We're not being sponsored, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you this cool mirrorless camera, the Sony Alpha A5100. This has been like a hot item since the pandemic started, due to its crystal clear, like visual. This DSLR cam will give you a wider lens with a shallower depth of field. The body alone is $450. Also, you can buy the body with a power zoom lens for $450 as well. So it's the same price. One tip I do want to mention is you would need a separate power supply plugged into this camera to ensure constant power, which is very, very important.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the webcams are going to give you constant power, but connecting something like this with your capture card, you don't want it to shut off on you during
Exactly. So next up, I do want to mention and show you is the Canon Vixia HF-R800. This is an awesome, camcorder. A very inexpensive way to add a camera to your setup. It has built-in HDMI, comes factory ready with a plug-in power supply to run on, constantly. It also has the ability to record, and this is about $249.99.
That's not bad.
And lastly, I do want to mention to you the Brio. The Logitech Brio is it's Ultra HD webcam right here. And this is another one where you get a crystal clear video with superb resolution, frame rate, color, and detail. The Logitech Brio delivers 4K Ultra HD at 30 frames per second or 1080p at either 30 or an ultra smooth 60 frames per second for outstanding clarity, smoothness, and detail. And that's about $199 here.
And then that one, how much is it?
Oh, that's $199. Yep.
Yeah. One thing to be said about, if you want to scroll through a couple of more of those options there on the Logitech site, these things are in super high demand. Very, very hard to come by, but there has been a lot of, unfortunately, price gouging on Amazon. So, the Logitech C920 that I have is around $70. I've seen them go for as much as $150. Double the price.
Wow.
So I'm hoping those come back in stock, and people have the ability to jump on those and not pay those high prices.
All right.
But we're not telling you, to run out and go buy a C920. We brought it up because it's in our setup. As long as you have an as long as you have a webcam that can output 1080p, by all means, you can use that. So,
right.
But yeah, man. In short, that kind of wraps up our segment on cameras. And we wanted to just let you know, at Electronic Music Collective, we are a DJ training facility, and we're located in downtown Manhattan. Please, if you haven't already, join our growing community. Get the support you need to develop fully as an artist, producer, and performer, and to inspire, guide, and develop your own sound. We're here to help you achieve your creative goals in a supportive environment that makes learning fun and rewarding. So, Austin,
I just want to say
it's been fun doing this first one with you.
Definitely. And thanks for joining us, and we will see you on the next episode as we go over the next topic on our streaming checklist, which will be audio.
Yeah, man. Audio is that's a fun one.
Yep.
So,
all right.
Cool, man. See you guys on the next one.